Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining tonight's training. Something a little bit different, I think, for most of you this evening. I don't recall really doing a specific touring presentation or training in the background. In the past. I think it's something that we've touched upon and we have had some suppliers come on. But obviously, the purpose of a supplier coming on is to sell their specific product, what they do and who they are. So this is more of a general overview of touring. Sometimes I think people could be a little worried to even put a tour out there because it can be sketchy territory, you know, very similar to somebody perhaps thinking of cruise and what have you. There's so many different elements, so many different types that I think some agents can honestly be put off. So we've got a bit of an overview, a bit of what it's about, who it's for, what it entails. So I'm going to get straight into it. I have made just a short presentation. As I say, hopefully you're just able to walk away understanding a little bit better whether or not going down the touring avenue and perhaps putting them out there, marketing them may be for you. So let me share my screen. Perfect. Tara, can you see that?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
But Sharna, it's not the whole screen. You can see tabs at the top as well.
Oh, thank you. But I have pressed. There we go. Thank you very much. So, yes, touring holidays. And this, I've literally titled it My Guide. How very big-headed of me. But it is literally just a case of, like I say, going through the options, what kind of different tours you can get, the kinds of destinations that really engage people, and yeah, who it's going to appeal to. So let's go ahead. Let's get straight into it. That is not the right one. Bear with me. What's going on here then? There we go. Introduction to touring holidays. So tours offer a unique travel experience. So they can combine, there are different ones, we'll get into it, but they can combine adventure, culture, and convenience. They allow travelers to explore multiple destinations, but having that expert guidance on hand. Something I don't think I've put in this tour, but in this presentation, what you will tend to find with a tour is that all of the guides will be local people. So they really know the areas that you are seeing inside and out. And obviously that's just going to ensure that you have more of an immersive journey on your trip. So why choose touring holidays? It's a comprehensive travel experience. You've got, as I said, those expert guides on hand all of the time to enhance everything. And they can show you things that you aren't going to read in a guide book, or that you aren't going to be able to necessarily have by Googling or asking ChatGPT. These people are very much lived experience within those places. Hassle-free planning is guaranteed. Your tour from start to finish is already pre-planned for you. And of course, the cultural immersion opportunities as well. Types of tours available. So there are many. I've picked out 4 here. The first one is the cultural tours. So immersing yourself in history and heritage. These kinds of tours will offer customers the chance to immerse themselves in the local history and the heritage of a destination. Participants engage in guided visits to historical sites, museums, traditional events, gaining a deeper understanding of the culture. Something else you can find with the cultural touring is some of our suppliers will even go to lengths such as you go to a local family's home and eat. You will stay in, if they perhaps have traditional types of housing. You may well stay in something like that. So really, really getting beyond the tourism side of whichever country it is. Adventure tours. So designed, of course, for thrill seekers. Those looking for perhaps something a little bit more unique. That can be hiking, it could be extreme sports, and everything in between. They cater to adrenaline enthusiasts and obviously offer unforgettable adventures and memories and probably some crazy photograph opportunities as well. Nature tours. So nature tours is a great way to connect with the outdoors. It can be national parks, it can be wildlife reserves, landscapes, and it really allows people to experience the beauty of where they are, as well as learning about things like their local ecosystems and all of that sort of thing as well. And culinary tours. These are a lot more popular than I realised. So I appreciate that we are all in some way, shape, or form food lovers. I know I'm certainly at the top of that list. And I also appreciate going and learning local cuisine and different countries' types of cuisine. But with these kinds of tours, that is exactly what that whole tour is about. It can be the cooking classes, it can be food tasting, visiting the local markets. Again, it could be going to local, I suppose, depending on where you are, but it could be going to local pastry chefs and actually going to see their place of work and seeing exactly how it's done, you know, getting right in there again. So food, drink, they absolutely love it. And there is a lot more of them than I realized as well. And then we've got different types of options. So budget friendly touring options. There's just a few things here. So I personally have been able to find a starting price of $699 for a tour. I'm not saying that there isn't any that are slightly cheaper, but that was personally the best price I've been able to find. So $699, that was for 8 nights, I believe. And I think the best way to break this down, certainly if you are speaking to a customer, so £700 instantly, depending on time of year, depending on destination, you could be taking £200 or £300 off that instantly for your flight. So if we say £200, which I think is being very, very kind, that would effectively bring that tour down to $499. Break down that $499 and what you are then getting. You aren't just getting 8 days of accommodation. You aren't just getting 8 days worth of meals. I'm not saying that's all meals, but they do usually at least include one, perhaps two. So you've got your 8 days of accommodation. You've got your 8 days of some sort of meals. You have got your 8 days of actually traveling round the different areas and seeing each individual place. You have then got different types of activities included. You've also got that tour guide as well. And of course, your transport that's getting you around all of those destinations. So if you break it down, $699 for a tour absolutely anywhere is incredible. You are averaging of being able to get 20% discount for booking early. So that is something to really, really jump on if you are thinking about marketing a tour. Of course, if you can get a last minute deal, I'm sure they're absolutely knocking around. But at the same time, these aren't necessarily the cheapest way of going on holiday. So being able to get 20% off, book it way in advance, put down a deposit and be able to pay it bit by bit will, of course, appeal to a lot of people as well. And of course, we've got flexible payment options. That isn't just touring, of course, that is for any. But once you have sorted out that deposit with a customer, which hopefully it is if it's, you know, outside of the relevant time frame, again, as I've just said, they can pay it off bit by bit. They can pay it off monthly, weekly, whatever suits them. So just a few things there for your more budget friendly options. Hotel standards and inclusions. So obviously your difference here between your budget and your luxury. We all will have an idea of different companies that are perhaps at the higher end of the market, and we'll also have companies in mind that are perhaps more budget friendly, more affordable. So travelers can choose from different types of hotel standards and different types of tour standards as well. They are designed to fit different people, different preferences. and, you know, ensuring that you're having a good time and a comfortable stay, regardless of what your choice is. But your luxury hotels, they, of course, tend to have a few more inclusions, enhancing your experience, enhancing the tour itself, making the holidays just that little bit more luxury. So you've got the option. I don't want people to think that touring is only for the, you know, very wealthy, or however you may perhaps preconceive the idea. There is something for everybody. And some popular destinations. Tours are, honestly, we all know this by now, they are completely worldwide. But I had a bit of a look around and checked out a few stats. So, Europe, of course, is always going to be a winner. You've got the history, you've got the arts, you've got the architecture. So, ancient ruins of Rome, the French countryside, any of these kinds of touring holidays and opportunities will offer a chance to be able to see the diverse cultures and the different traditions across the European countries. Asia, I don't think anybody would be surprised that Asia is in here. You've got your exotic landscapes, that could be the jungles, it could be the beaches, as well as the vibrant cities that, of course, carry that rich heritage. Tours here can include experiences such as the festivals that each country may have, culinary classes, and visits to iconic sites such as the Great Wall of China. Over to South America. Again, I think when perhaps you think of touring, this may well be an area that you automatically think of as well. Of course, you've got the natural wonders such as the Amazon rainforest and the Andes Mountains. Then you've also got the likes of the ancient ruins like Machu Picchu as well. And again, doing it this way, doing it as a tour, you are able to go and visit more than one of these kinds of wonders within that one trip as well. And Africa, I think this is the top of everybody's list when you think about touring. So Africa, of course, is very, very well known for the wildlife experiences. Safaris in the Serengeti to tranquil retreats along the Nile. Touring holidays will provide the opportunities to be able to observe these kind of wildlife in their natural habitats. There isn't many places, as we all know, that you can do that. I don't think Blackpool Zoo counts as natural habitats. And on from there, the rising popularity of tours. So they are gaining traction, and it's because of their convenience. It's because of the experiences. It's because of the inclusions. And it's because actually somebody has taken all of the hassle away of having to try and create your own itinerary. They've done it for you, and you know that they've done it to the maximum ability to make sure you are able to see as much as possible. People want these kind of immersive travel opportunities. So it's a great, great way of being able to holiday and take a trip. So the main suppliers that we use, and I apologize, I know we've got more, but Wendy Woo, they are known for being quite high end, and they, although they nowadays do a lot more, they are very much known, and I think will carry forever being an Asian expert. Exotica, all the different types of tours that they've got, suited to all different types of people. Not in the guidebooks. I've put their hidden gems. I think that's something that came across to anybody who was around and watched the training. They do very much go off the beaten track. And Gold Medal have such an array of companies that they use. You can pretty much tick anybody's boxes from a touring perspective with them. So with a Wendy Woo, they are renowned, as I say, for their exceptional journeys throughout Asia. I don't want to put them in a box. As I say, they now do a heck of a lot more, but it is just something that they are known for. They offer a blend of cultural and adventure. Their itineraries will showcase vibrant local experiences, historical landmarks, landscapes, and ensuring that every traveller leaves with unforgettable memories. So for anybody who perhaps isn't too sure, as I've just very briefly mentioned there, Wendy Woo are definitely your more luxury end, your higher end of a touring company, they will also have a lot more inclusions. They will even include your visas and what have you as well. So that might be something to know if it wasn't something that you're aware of. Exotica, they specialize in creating unforgettable journeys. They wish to highlight hidden gems and local cultures. Their tours will offer travelers a chance to engage deeply with destinations, ensuring that each experience is both authentic and enriching. Exotica are quite a good mixture. If you were to go onto their site and have a look, they are actually the company I found the £699 with. But I am also aware of tours on there that are a lot higher in price and a lot higher in the, shall we say, luxury scale. So they do very much, again, hit a lot of people's boxes, tick a lot of people's boxes. Not in the guidebooks, as I say, off the beaten track. And that is what they specialize in: unique travel experiences, being able to connect again with the local cultures. Their itineraries are designed to go beyond the conventional tourism. They will give travelers a more authentic insight into the lesser known destinations. So again, places that you can't necessarily just find in a guidebook, or places that you can't just Google and it'll come up with. They're also very well known for their Lapland itineraries, their Lapland tours, certainly with regards to the fact that they do the igloo hotels, and they do the, crikey, what are they called? The glass hotels. Apologies, there is a name for them, it's just completely left my brain, with the complete open glass roofs for the likes of the Northern Lights. It will come to me, I do apologize, but there is a name for those hotels. Gold medal, quality and value. So as I say, they stand out with regards to the touring market. And it isn't necessarily because gold medal do their own. It is simply because of how many contracts they have put in place with different types of touring companies. They really will try and tick anybody and everybody's boxes, whether it is more budget friendly, whether it is luxury. We've not even touched on the fact that your guided tours can be group. You can even go one step beyond and do a private tour if you wish. So your whole tour is just you and whoever is going with you. And they will, again, do all of that. So they will cater to different people's interests. They will cater for different budgets. And they want to ensure that, well, really, they want to be the go-to person, don't they? They do have a contract in place with Not in the Guidebook. So again, even just off those there, that gives you an idea. They will use so many people to try and make sure that they can cater to everybody. And I've just done a very quick touring versus multi-centre. So, of course, your touring holiday is going to provide that structure for you, that day-to-day itinerary. You already know in advance what the following day is going to entail. Making sure that you are experiencing the best of each destination. You, of course, have got that expert guidance from those tour leaders, and they will offer whatever it is you want. So if it's cultural, you know you're going to get that. You know you're going to be able to see the ins and outs of the local traditions. Versus a multi-centre holiday. So multi-centre is flexibility. It's, of course, what you want to do. If you are choosing a tour, as I say, it is structured A to Z each and every single day. You know what is coming. Your multi-centre is going to offer flexible traveling. It's going to let you explore multiple destinations, but at your own pace. So, as I say, it isn't a case of comparing them and working out which one's better. It's just a case of comparing them and finding which one's right for your customer. So if your customer would prefer to self-plan things, doesn't know what they want to do each day, doesn't want to stick to an itinerary, then of course a touring holiday isn't for them. but a multi-centre would be, and vice versa. If you are the kind of person, or your customer is the kind of person that actually never been to this kind of destination before, wouldn't know where to start, really want to get into the nitty-gritty of it, a tour is 100% going to be for them compared to a multi-centre doing it on your own. Traveling leaves you speechless, then turns you into a storyteller. So that is quite simply creating your memories, taking those photographs, walking away from a different destination and thinking about it pretty much forever and ever. And that is the end of my presentation. So let me stop sharing and let me come back to you. Crikey, that was only half an hour. Okay, so yes, does anybody have any questions?
I do.
Go ahead.
I was just wondering where you got the 699 tour from, which supplier?
It is Exotica, and it is a 8-day Albania tour.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. There is also a 749, testing myself here, aren't I? Which was longer. I actually think it was 10 or 11 days. And that was also with Exotica around Turkey.
That's good.
But very, very similar in price. Something else I just want to very quickly show you. This is more for your own personal use, shall we say. But I'm going to have to reshare, aren't I? Excuse me. On Exotica, for example, just because I'm in them first, they have got a marketing area, marketing assets. And you can go into marketing resources, and there is all different things in there. So past promotions, we're not going to really need to use, but you've got marketing materials, you've got current promotions as well. From there, as I said, you can go into each one, see what works best for you. And of course, we've got a contract in place with them, so you can use these on all of your socials should you wish. But as I said, Exotica, they do try and put things out there for each type of traveller. And I think another misconceived idea is that touring isn't for families. So I'm just going to show you this. I don't know if you can hear it. So, did you say you can't hear that? That's a shame. It's quite it's quite nice music.
I also couldn't hear it, but I assume that video is in Exotica's page, isn't it?
It is indeed. So once you log into Exotica, you've got this menu down here, marketing assets, marketing resources, and then each individual bracket down here. So these short videos, depending on what kind of marketing you do personally, these kinds of videos are available for you to use. That is exactly what they are there for. And again, I think it is quite a big misconception that touring isn't for families. So just using a very short 20-second clip like that actually showing the complete opposite may be worth doing also, if this is something that you fancy. I did also have a small little video from, not in the guidebooks, but I think I've clicked out of it. They also have a marketing area on their page. Let me just show you that also. So under agents here, get there eventually, it's because of this thing. Bear with me, sorry guys. Agents, marketing. So again, you can click into there. A lot of theirs are very social media friendly. They've got PDFs and social media marketing on there, but they do also have the odd one, and it does tell you, for example, Pottery Week in Spain with a video. So again, you can download each pack and it will then bring it up for you. So pottery making in Spain, in Andalusia. Again, I'm sorry, I'm guessing you can't hear it. But it's certainly a different way of marketing a tour. And you just never know who this kind of thing could reach. They look good. Lovely. As I say, use these things. That is exactly what they are there for. They are there for you. So that is, of course, just touching upon Exotica and not in the guidebooks. Something else. Oh, it was down there. Something else is you can order brochures with gold medal. So I do have somewhere an Incredible Journeys brochure. I actually think I've helped an agent on here that was looking at a tour, and I've said, just a second, I've got it. I've got the tour brochure, and there it is. You know, you can open your own mind to all these kinds of places, destinations that you didn't even necessarily know that you could tour around. I remember a few years back, excuse me, it was in previous employment, it wasn't here. But I remember in previous employment, a well-known reality star went on a tour, and it turned out to be with Wendy Wu, as we got told. And he did, crikey, was it the pandas? I think it was the pandas. It was either pandas or gorillas. I apologize. I hardly remember what I did yesterday at this point in my life. It was either pandas or gorillas. And that was shown on the TV. People went crazy. People didn't realize that you could go and sort of sit and observe in their natural habitat, these kinds of things. So perhaps give it a try, because you just never know who you're going to reach audience wise, who you are going to get to. Does anybody else have any other questions?
No, I
Lorna?
don't have a kind of question. Sorry, I don't have like a kind of question. I just want to assume that each site has its own rules, regulations, and do's and do nots, and minimum amount of people and a maximum amount of people, right?
Yes. So you do tend to find, so there is companies out there that we sell, and no matter what, they will go ahead with that tour. So you could be the only person booked onto that tour, and it doesn't matter, it's going ahead. There is also maximum. So, excuse me, again, that does depend on the tour, and it will depend on the company. A lot of companies you will also find do small group tours specifically, and there will be no more than perhaps 6 people on a tour. Some will have perhaps 10 or 12. And as I say, it depends on the company, and it does depend on the tour itself. But they're never overly large groups, because they do still want you to have that personal feel to the tours as well, which I think is quite nice.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Lorna, your hand's up.
Yes, there's someone who said wasn't particularly interested in the touring side of things. I found this really interesting. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Completely different concept to all the things I've done so far.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, really interesting. It's given me completely new food for thought, especially on my socials.
Fabulous. Yeah, I think from a social media perspective, obviously you're putting so much into one holiday that they are visually very, very pleasing. But as I say, if you are the kind of person who likes to have structure, and by the way, I think something else to note while we are, while I'm still recording and everything, is you aren't necessarily going to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning and not bedding back down till 11 o'clock in the evening. It could be that on a particular day, you've got your tour will include 3 hours of, physically going somewhere and doing something. And then the rest of the day, the rest of the night is yours to do as you please. So it isn't, as I say, you will be up at 5 a.m. You will not be back at your hotel till 11 o'clock this evening, and you're going to be out all day, every day. Again, I think that's another misconception of it, and it's just not the case. Some days will probably be quite heavy. Other days will be light. Another great thing on these websites, within these brochures, it will also tell you the activity side of it. So if you think of, let's say, if you think of a curry, you've got the 1, the 2, the 3 chilies, they will do the same kind of thing with regards to how strenuous a tour is. So it's small things like that I think will then perhaps give people a different way of looking at it, and that actually it's probably for a lot more people than we thought it was. So yeah, small things like that. Okay, I don't think anybody else has got any other questions. So what I'm going to do, again, I know I've got a couple of newer names on here. What we do now is we stop the recording, but we do keep you all on should you wish to stay. And if you want to interact with anybody, ask any questions that are completely off the topic of touring in this case. So if you do want to stay, I am going to say bye to everybody who isn't here in real time, and I'm going to stop the recording. So with that, thank you everybody for watching tonight's training. Hopefully I'll see more new faces again next week. Next week we have got a new supplier. We have got Do Something Different. You will have already seen them on the Travel Cafe if you've been actively looking, but James has been kind enough to come on next week and go through the products and things that they offer. So hopefully you'll be able to join us for that. Thank you very much.